what weirdly happened in this deadline, which doesn't happen in every deadline at all, the longer that you waited, the less you paid for a player.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. It's only valid through September 30th. So order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, Thursday was busy.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Right? Just exhausting. I don't think people understand how crazy the trade deadline is for people who cover the team, but it really is. We're going to talk about it more. But first, before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you know when those videos go up. You can also follow us on TikTok. We're at LockedOn_Yankees. We're approaching 600 followers at this point, which is pretty cool. So keep following us there. On today's show, we'll preview the pitching matchups against the Marlins. That series begins tonight. We're going to also go through some of the trades that were made around the league because it wasn't just a busy trade deadline for the Yankees. It got crazy those last couple of hours before the trade deadline on Thursday. We will recap the Yankees' rainy win over the Rays. But first, let's go through what the Yankees did on Thursday prior to the trade deadline because Brian Cashman was really busy.
Yeah, for all the Brian Cashman wake up memes that we saw, and there's a deadline going on, and the sleeping bag picture that we saw, everybody, he was letting this thing germinate, if I will. He was letting it marinate, letting it see what the market was going to show itself, and it did, and he got good value for what he got back. I think, full disclosure, I think they had the best deadline out of any team. It's really hard to say yet just because we don't really know what's going to pan out yet. But I think they had a tremendous deadline. I really do. I think they got so many players for the highest rated prospect they traded was their number 8 prospect. It's hard to do better than that and for what they got back. So I really like what they did. We'll break down each and every trade in a few seconds here. But from an overall synopsis of it, 2 things. They addressed every need they had besides starting pitching, which I don't know if starting pitching was their highest need. When we ranked it earlier in the week, me and Stacey, we said third base and bullpen. So they fixed those 2 things. Also, what they wound up doing, Stacey, which I love, what weirdly happened in this deadline, which doesn't happen in every deadline at all. The longer that you waited, the less you paid for a player. I don't know why. The teams that made trades days prior where you thought, oh, they're going to make an earlier trade, try and get ahead of things, those teams paid more than the teams that waited things out. Very odd, but it was a very fluid market. Teams were ready to move guys back and forth. I love what the Yankees did here.
Were you surprised by how much activity there was?
Yeah, I think this is more activity than we've seen in an MLB trade deadline in years.
Yeah.
And again, usually what winds up happening is they wind up being feral cats that circle each other, and they're all waiting on who's going to make the first move, and then someone makes a move, and then it all starts falling on top of each other. Weirdly, what happened here, though, is generally the closer you get towards that actual deadline, is the more teams are willing to pay because usually it's a buyer's market. And usually teams are going to start, all right, we'll throw in this prospect, we'll throw in some cash, we'll throw in this because they're trying to get deals done. Here, the longer you waited, the more teams were like, no, take him, take this guy, take him. They were all getting rid of guys. The perfect example, and I'm not making this a Yankee Met thing, but the trade the Mets made for Tyler Rogers from the Giants the night prior, they gave up significantly more than what the Yankees gave up the next day for Duvall. And Duvall's a better pitcher than Rogers. So it didn't make much sense to me. That's generally not how the market works itself out. But you know what? Brian Cashman makes $10 million a year. That's about $10 million a year more than I make per year. And he gets that money to make these decisions, to know that's how the market's going to play it out. And we've given him a lot of crap over the last 9-10 months. But Stacey, he read this deadline like a book. He had a perfect trade deadline. He really did.
Yeah, he did a really good job. You mentioned Rogers. His brother was also moved. Both twins
which is
were
crazy.
moved.
And one's a lefty, one's a righty.
One's
How
lefty,
weird
one's
is that?
righty. They're identical. I showed them to my mother. She didn't believe me. I said, no, I swear, one's Tyler, one's Taylor. And she just started laughing. She thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And I said, but that's amazing that a pair of twins not only played baseball, but made it to the majors. Like, how often does that happen? Never.
Wild. Never.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the first big trade of the day that everyone his name was on the radar and Yankee fans thought they were going to go after him. David Bednar. And there were a couple of teams in on him. They loved him. He's having an unbelievable year for the Pirates right now. Last year, he was great too. Since May 24th, 23 and a third innings, 0.39 ERA at 11.19 Ks per nine. Doesn't really walk guys, 0.77 whip. He's having an unbelievable year. He's also, him, like every other pitcher the Yankees acquired, has control next season. Unbelievable job. They actually got term with all these players, didn't just get impending free agents. That's another key thing, and that stands for all these guys, Stacey. That's an incredible job.
Yes, because that was a lot of the issue with some of the guys that Yankee fans really wanted them to get. Like, a lot of people wanted them to get Suarez for third base. And you think to yourself, well, what good is that going to do? Because he's just a rental. You're not even really probably going to be able to keep him after the playoffs end. And you would much rather have someone who was also better at defense, like Ryan McMahon.
You get more value long term.
Yeah, he doesn't hit the cover off the ball, but at least you can trust him to play a solid third base, where you really can't with Suarez. He makes some good plays. He's kind of like a Gio Urshela in that sense, where Gio Urshela seemed like he was a much better third baseman than he actually was because he made these crazy plays. Not that he was terrible, but he was almost overvalued at third. And I feel like some people were doing that with Suarez.
Yeah, so Bednar does come with the Yankees trading the top prospect they traded in all the trade deadline.
Yes.
You give up Perez, their top catching prospect, number 8 overall.
Flores,
sorry. Their number 8 overall prospect in their farm system. He is a catcher though, and I'll say this. They are surplus at catcher prospects. They have too many at this point. There are so many, and they've done a good job at developing them over the years. So I wouldn't be too scared with them giving up a catching prospect. They do love him. I will say the top thing about Flores, his top metric, I guess, in what he does on the field is framing. And that is a skill that becomes irrelevant in 2 seasons with the ABS coming in. So
that's true.
It really doesn't mean much. The Bednar trade, if you are a David Wells fan, then you will love David Bednar. He is a husky fella who throws pretty hard and likes to drink beer. So I think you will like him. He is a middle America man's man, I guess, if you want to call it. He gives me Carlos Rodon vibes.
Yeah. The other thing you'll like about him is his career numbers against left-handed batters. The batting line is 203, 285, 333.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you get that trade done, and then the trade deadline starts to move over towards the afternoon, and they acquired Jake Bird from the Rockies, and everyone goes, what are they doing here? Now, I immediately felt bad for Stacey because Rock Riggio got moved in the deal, and she loves his name. But Jake Bird
and Edgeline Perez in the Bednar. But what are the Yankees doing to me?
Killing all your favorite prospects. I'll say this. Bird's ERA is slightly over 4. His sinker has incredible movement on it, to the point he has the most vertical drop in his sinker in the major leagues since Zach Britton. No one's had a higher vertical drop since Zach Britton in the major leagues. And remember how good Zach Britton's sinker is. Yeah. They A, believe that Matt Blake sees something in Bird, and B, Bird was an unbelievable pitcher just 2 years ago. So I think they can really find something. Plus a 4 ERA in Coors Field probably translates to a 3.5 ERA in Yankee Stadium. I absolutely love this move. Absolutely love this move. I think it was a smart move. You didn't give up a lot to get him too.
So what about the Camilo Duvall trade? Because that was the one where people were like, wait, what?
It was the extreme last minute one. They make this trade at 5:58. It was right at the deadline. Duvall throws about 147 miles an hour. He throws unbelievably hard. He was an all-star two years in a row, 2 years ago with the Giants. Had 2 ERAs in those 2 ERAs. The ERA was 2 in both of those years. Now his ERA has been higher the last few years. Giants fans are not unbelievably happy with him. The Yankees didn't give up a lot to get him. They give a lot of prospects, but not a lot of high-ranking prospects, is the way I put it. Right. He's also under arbitration until 2028. You have him for a long time. He throws absolute gas. They can absolutely fix him. The talent's been there before. I think it's an outrageously great trade. You waited out the market. You paid significantly less than the Mets paid for Rodgers 2 days prior. I love this deal so much, getting a player like that. The only negative I think it would say is if you're a Devin Williams fan out there, the bullpen surplus the Yankees picked up definitively means Devin Williams will not be re-signed by the Yankees.
Yeah, that's probably it. Duvall's also under control until 2028.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, so that one is terrific to me. His arbitration number last year was $1.8 million. So what does it go up to? $3.5 million next year? Still not crazy. I do think you got to remember too, the two Yankee relievers that are at the top of the market, out of their market right now, were Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, both pending free agents. I don't know if they definitively lose Weaver, because I don't know. It depends on what his market looks like. If someone's out there going to give him $15 million a year, he's probably gone. Yeah. If the Yankees get him back for 11 or 12, they probably do it. Devin Williams, I think, is gone. Someone's giving him $20 million a year, and the Yankees are not paying him that.
Yeah. So let's put this graphic up, because this will show everyone who came in, who left. So you see, well, we didn't even mention this yet, but Oswald Peraza traded to the Angels for outfielder Wilberson DePena and international money.
So I'll say this. The fact that they got something for him is remarkable to me.
Yeah. I was sad for him, and he looked very sad, but I think this fresh start might actually help him.
It could. I don't hate it at all. Again, I thought they were going to have to DFA him and have some. When you texted me, Peraza got moved, I actually thought they DFA'd him. Oh, because I thought what it didn't make sense to me that someone would give us something for some reason. The Angels were buyers at this deadline. I don't know if they even know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, they really don't know what they're doing. Of the prospects that they moved, Flores, Perez, Pereira, we didn't even mention, right?
Yeah.
Vierling and Rodriguez were all in the Yankees' top 20, with the highest being Flores at 8.
Yeah, you can't ask for better than that. For what they got, for what they gave up, you can't ask for better than what they got.
So quickly, during the game that we're going to talk about in segment 2.
This is wild.
The Yankees acquired Jose Caballero from the Rays for Everson Pereira and a player to be named later. Did we learn who the player to be named later was?
Not yet. Not yet, no.
So Caballero, who, if you don't remember, Garrett Cole.
Yep.
Shaking it. That was one of Steve's favorite moments from 2023, by the way. So he had to do the hug thing in the Rays dugout and then walk over to the Yankees clubhouse because he got traded to the Yankees. He said he
actually physically walked over, and the Rays staff, the equipment staff, had to go back into the truck and get his stuff.
Yeah.
And pull it out and bring it over to the Yankees stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So he grew up a Yankee fan. He said that Jeter was his favorite player. He said it was very strange going from one dugout to the other, but he's very happy to come over to the Yankees and he wants to help them win a World Series.
This trade has layers to it. And we'll discuss it on the other side after the break. But this trade is good for many, many, many reasons. And I'm going to let you guys know because they accomplished a lot with getting one player.
Yeah. And before we go to the next segment, let's just say this. This is from Joel Sherman. Yankees catching depth has been key to trades with Ramon Flores and Edgelin Perez joining Jose Trevino, Alex Jackson, Luis Torrens, Agustin Ramirez, Kyle Higashioka, Carlos Narvaez, Ben Rortvet, all of them traded since the end of 2023. So that's the Yankees are like a catching machine. Like we always joked about the Rays growing their pitchers in a lab somewhere because all these guys would come out of the bullpen and start. And who are these guys? The Yankees do the same thing with catchers. Apparently, they grow them somewhere. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. So coming up, we will recap the game between the Yankees and the Rays, which was like 6 hours long because of a nearly 3-hour rain delay. So we'll discuss it all next.
Time to fuel up and turn it in with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. And whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days in the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. So, Stacey, before we even get into the Caballero trade and why I think it's a great trade all through and through, let's talk about the series victory over the Rays, because that could have wound up being a little hidden with the deadline and everything going on off the field in baseball. Yeah. This was a massive series win. I said it last night on the show that I did solo. They needed to win this series. This was a team that was actively selling, waving the white flag. You could not lose this series. You had to win. You got the win. And now I think the division is very much in play for the Yankees.
Yeah, and I like the way they did it. You know, if you're going to take 3 out of 4, lose the first game and win the final 3 instead of momentum. Yeah, instead of the opposite, because that sometimes happens where you're looking for a sweep and then the last game is a letdown. So I'd prefer the 3 out of 4 being, start with a loss and then you have the walk-off, the exciting walk-off win. And then you have the game on Thursday with the 2.5-hour rain delay in the middle of it while flash floods were happening all over New York City. MLB was like, yeah, you guys can finish this game. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, you guys are fine, right?
Yeah.
So the Blue Jays have, just to mention that, the Yankees are now 3.5 back of the Blue Jays in the standings. They get Luis Varland, obviously, in that big trade, and they get Shane Bieber. That was kind of the first move that broke the deadline of the day in the morning, the Shane Bieber trade. I don't hate the Bieber trade. I kind of wanted the Yankees to do it. I think there's a tremendous amount of upside there. He could return back to his side. This is a guy that's removed off a sign only a few years ago. So I don't hate that move at all for them. Other than that, though, they didn't make that major splash that really scared you. I think they got slightly better and they fine-tuned some things, but I don't think they got overwhelmingly better where the Yankees can't catch them now. They're 3.5 back, Stacey. I think it's very much in reach for the Yankees.
Sure. I know a few Blue Jays fans who are not happy with their deadline, and that happens. There are other AL East teams where their fans aren't happy, but we'll talk about that in segment 3. So let's talk about this game because, as you said, this is a good thing because the Yankees heading into this series, I believe, were 11-18 against AL East opponents. So you add 3 to the win total and you add 1 to the loss total. And that looks a bit better at 14-19 compared to 11-18. So the game started off well for the Yankees. They were up 7-0 at one point, and Marcus Stroman had a no-hitter heading into the 4th inning, and then things fell apart for him. He gave up 4 runs in the 4th. But what I thought was great, he was able to come back in the 5th, have a clean inning, get that double play to end that inning, and, before yielding to the bullpen and not letting it get away from him and not letting it be one of those 7-6, oh my God, are they going to lose this kind of games?
Yep, absolutely. To get through this game, you get Bellinger, who continues to just swing a flaming hot bat. Stanton, who's been really good. And you better hope and pray Judge can play the field because Stanton's been so good, and they're going to have a lot of problems figuring out, unless they just decide to catch Rice full time, which they kind of can't do because he can't throw anyone out, apparently. Yeah. They're going to have a lot of problems when it comes to fielding a team. And De Los Santos, got to feel bad for him. He pitches really good out of the bullpen, a lot of strikeouts, and they immediately send him down because they had to make room for roster moves.
Yeah, they sent him down along with Ian Hamilton to Scranton to make room for a couple of the new guys. Stanton's home run, I just love the sound that the ball makes coming off the bat, 432 feet. And you're just like, man, he also broke Junior Caminero.
Yep.
I mean, would you want to run into Giancarlo Stanton? It's probably like running into a brick wall.
No, and the throw was weird too because the third baseman kind of figured with a normal runner, all right, I'm not getting him here. And they looked up and realized it was Stanton. And then he tried to make the throw, and then it wound up being Stanton taking his arm off. So, not great.
No, and they asked him about it after the game, Stanton. He felt bad, obviously.
How could you not?
Yeah, because like, oh, sorry, I'm so muscular and strong and like a superhero, and people are going to hit into me and hurt themselves.
So Jose Caballero, the deal that happened in the middle of this game.
Yeah.
I think this is a great deal on all facets for the Yankees. First of all, a team that lately has not been running and has struggled to run. They go out there and get the top stolen base leader in all of baseball, who has not only the most stolen bases, but the best percentage of stealing bases in all of baseball. That's key too. It doesn't really get thrown out much either. So you get a guy like that who's definitely going to be on your roster, definitely going to be on your postseason roster, just because base running, which has been such a problem for them lately, is kind of solved with getting a really good base runner who steals a lot of bases. That's good. Also, and this to me is the best part of this move, but it's the hidden part that not many people really thought of. You get a competent backup shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Volpe has felt any fire behind his behind. I don't know why I said behind twice, but you get my point. He hasn't felt any fire because who was taking his job?
Right.
All the Yankee fans the last couple of days that were preaching at us in our comments saying they need to send Volpe down. Who's playing short if they do that? Who you putting at shortstop? They don't have a shortstop to go get. The fact that you acquire Caballero, who, I'm sorry, could start at shortstop for them.
Yeah.
That should light a fire under Volpe's behind. That should scare Volpe a little bit. And that to me is the move that I love most when it comes to all this is you give Volpe a little more motivation to, hey, pick it up or you're actually going to sit now. There's someone who can actually take your spot. He's able to play. He's able to steal bases. He's able to make noise out there. He's a good base runner, but also he gives Volpe a little bit of a jolt to play a little better. That to me is the key in all of this.
Yes. By the way, congrats to the Yankees for not having an error in Thursday's game.
Shocker.
Yeah. Yeah. Loizaga also looked better coming out of the bullpen. I think overall, the only blip really was the fourth inning with Stroman. I mean, other than that, the game was fine. And I like that they got out to that big lead because that's what I wanted to see from them. I wanted to see them get out to the big league, have their starter be solid. I would have preferred for him to be solid for the full five and not have that meltdown in the fourth, but they didn't let it get away from them. And I'm happy with the move for Caballero because of the stolen bases, because of the base running, because of the fact that maybe he could teach some of these kids a thing or two, like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do this. Although I don't have a problem. Dominguez is good at running bases. He is
great,
sneaky fast. He knows what he's doing on the bases. I want Volpe to be better at the bases. And, Austin Wells to know how many outs there are when he's on the bases.
This was a big deadline. They improved in every spot they wanted to. I cannot. They also, to all the Yankee fans out there that want to be negative, you guys had such a problem with this roster and how flawed it is. They changed a third of their roster.
Yeah, like this was a really solid deadline. You don't, and we spoke about this. You don't always have to make the splashiest moves.
Nope.
These are solid moves that are going to improve this team by a lot.
Stacey, how splashy in 2021 was Eddie Rosario and Jock Peterson for the Braves?
Right. Yeah.
Those two moves won them the World Series.
Right.
It's not about the splashy moves sometimes. It's about making the move that fits your roster best. And the Yankees, again, they addressed every concern they had besides starting pitching. And, hey, you do get Luis Gil back on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that Cashman stood his ground. It was basically, we're not giving up Spencer Jones for anyone other than Paul Skeens. The Pirates were like, well, we're not giving up Paul Skeens. And Cashman was like, fine. All right. So we're not going to do that. So as we said in segment 1, the highest ranked prospect in the Yankees system was number 8 that was given away. Other teams gave away high prospects.
With the Padres.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about those trades after we preview the Marlins, because a lot of things happened in the trade deadline. As we said, it was, I don't think I've ever seen a trade deadline like this, because the prediction was that it probably wasn't going to be like this, because people didn't think that certain teams were going to move so many people. But there was one specific team we're going to get into in the next segment who gave away 10% of their 40-man roster, which works out to way more from their 27-man roster. Just,
crazy.
So coming up, we're going to preview the pitching matchups against the Marlins, because that series begins tonight in Miami. And we're also going to tell you about all these trades, because some teams went ham selling.
As the kids would say.
Yeah, next.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gameday Hue, and so is this good-looking hat that I'm wearing. For Locked On Yankees fans like me and all of you, this one hits the mark. Now, Gameday Hue makes clean, no-logo gear. It's got team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base that you can find here on Locked On. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. There's no giant logos, just smart, versatile style that works on game day, the course, or anywhere in between. I love rocking it on the course. It's subtle, it's stylish, it helps rep my team. It also pairs with any kind of thing that I'm going to wear, right? If I can wear it to tailgates, tea times, just out running errands. It looks good. It complements my outfits. It's the kind of hat that reps your team without screaming it. It's subtle, but it says everything you need to. And guess what? Right now, you can get 15% off with game day code MLB15 at GamedayHue.com. That's GamedayHue.com. That code even stacks on bundle deals. So now is the time to load up. Plus, you can get these really cool golf gloves that are also in the same color scheme as your team. Nothing's better than that. So let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's GamedayHue.com, code MLB15. And not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees Postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as streaming on our YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to the Locked On Yankees Postcast. Stacey, real quick, I'm going to run through the preview of the Marlins series. It's a big series. The Marlins are playing a lot better over the last couple weeks. After they play the Marlins, the Rangers, and then the Astros at home. After those series, the Yankees schedule gets significantly easier throughout the rest of the season, really. They have the weakest schedule in all of baseball. There's a legitimate chance they could win this division. Friday at 7:10, you'll get Carlos Rodon versus Jansen Junk. What a name. He's 5-2 with a 3.28 ERA. Saturday is a yes game. It's a 4:10 start. You'll get Cam Schlittler versus Yuri Perez. He's 3-3 with a 3.07. Didn't get moved to the deadline, which a lot of people thought he would. And Sunday, you'll get a 1:40 start. It's Luis Gil, who's making a season debut against Edward Cabrera. Also did not get moved. 4-5 with a 3.35 ERA. Good ERAs for those guys. The Marlins just don't score runs. It's going to be a tough series, though, because they played a lot better of late.
Yeah, and Alcantara was not moved either.
Surprisingly.
10 minutes before the deadline, they were like, the Marlins are not doing anything with him, because there were things going around.
Full disclosure, I wanted him. I thought it would have been a good move. I thought it would have been a great move to finish out the deadline. And I thought Matt Blake could have found something there. But they didn't find the right matching package. And I have to, with what they did the rest of the deadline, I have to respect not making that move. I have to trust them, because they proved themselves this deadline. They made a lot of really, really solid moves. They got good value on pieces. If they didn't think the value on Alcantara was smart, then I have to respect that.
So let's talk about the team who traded 10 players before the trade deadline. They weren't all traded on Thursday, but a lot of these moves were, I knew this team was selling, but I don't think I've ever seen a team trade this many people away. Have you?
Fire sale. I just did, full disclosure, the Locked On MLB Squad show, And we had guys from Locked On Twins there, and they feel like ownership abandoned them. That's how bad this looks.
Yeah. Yohan Duran went to the Phillies. Harrison Bader went to the Phillies. Griffin Jacks went to the Rays. Lewis Farland and Ty France went to the Blue Jays. Willie Castro went to the Cubs. Brock Stewart went to the Dodgers. Chris Paddock went to the Tigers. He was not happy. He said something in the scrum about it. And Danny Kalum went to the Rangers. And the Rangers made some moves too that I don't think I put in the rundown.
Yeah, and what's crazy about the Rangers moves, before we get back into the Twins, a lot of teams within divisions played monkey see, monkey do, where they were waiting for a team in their division to start making moves, and they responded. You saw it the day prior with the Mets and the Phillies. The Mets make the trade for Rogers. The Phillies immediately make the trade for Duran. And then the Mets go out and make more trades. So they went back and forth. The Mets got Helsley from the Cardinals, which is a great move for the Mets. They went back and forth. Then you saw this with the Astros and the Rangers on Thursday. Is the Astros and the Rangers were kind of staying silent. Everybody was sitting there saying, what are the Rangers doing with this great pitching staff? Why would you sit pat and do nothing? Then the Astros make a bunch of moves, and the Rangers were like, we should get on this. And they make a ton of moves. And so right before the Rangers made all their moves, like within the last half hour of the deadline.
Yeah, Merrill Kelly.
Crazy. Merrill Kelly. I mean, what a great pickup. That rotation, Stacey. DeGrom, Eovaldi, Kelly, and Leiter.
Yeah, that's scary.
Wow, is that good?
Speaking of scary, the Athletics sent Mason Miller and JP Sears to the Padres. The Padres also made a ton of moves.
See, this is a weird one. The Padres go all in, and I respect that, but they emptied their farm system.
Yeah.
I mean, they depleted their farm system. They went from the number 3 farm system to the rankings aren't out yet, but it's expected they're going to drop to 21.
That's a lot of people to trade away.
Depleted their farm system. Quickly on the Mason Miller one. Great closer. Electric stuff.
But you have Robert Suarez there because they didn't move him, right?
Yes. And Stacey, closers are so hit or miss.
Yeah.
You see this year after year. Guys have great years, terrible years, great. I think to get this much value for a closer, they got the number 3 prospect in baseball.
Yeah.
You almost have to make that move. The Padres are all in. They're an awesome team, and they're seeing the Dodgers not play great. A Dodgers team that was pretty quiet during the deadline, too. I don't hate this if you're the Padres. It's just, look at what the Yankees did in giving up what they gave up to get what they got. And look at the Padres who depleted their farm system. The Yankees did not. Yankees gave up a lot of players, but nothing of value. They didn't deplete their system.
Right.
The Padres just emptied their farm. I don't get it.
Yeah. Then you had the Marlins send Jesus Sanchez to the Astros. He's an outfielder. The Brewers got Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery. I forgot all about Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, and you know why they got him? They got him for cash considerations because the Diamondbacks didn't want to pay that contract.
Right.
And the Brewers said, we'll take it on. I don't hate that move for the Brewers at all.
Yeah, I don't either. The Royals get Mike Yastrzemski at the last second.
Literally.
It was like 558 or 559 when that came out. For Junior Marte, who's a righty minor league pitching prospect. And then the Orioles did a bunch of moves. So Sir Anthony Dominguez, we know, went to the Blue Jays. Charlie Morton to the Tigers. Andrew Kitteridge to the Cubs. Gregory Soto and Cedric Mullins to the Mets. The Mets gave up 3 pitching prospects for Cedric Mullins. Ryan O'Hearn and Roman Laureano to the Padres. There was the other move. For the 6 minor leaguers for those 2 guys that the Padres gave away.
I don't know if I love what the Orioles are doing just because if they didn't need to replenish the youth on their team. They should be good this year. So I don't know their whole trajectory over the last 2 years took a complete flip where they look like they were on the roller coaster going up. And now they're just kind of circling around, going on loop-de-loops, and we don't know what's going on with that franchise.
Yeah, they're kind of on a wild mouse roller coaster right now, where they're because they don't know what they're not going up and down. They're just kind of like turning
it's so
around.
Confusing.
Yeah,
I want to give
really
you
strange.
3 teams that I want your opinion on of teams that did nothing, and I don't get why. And when I say nothing, I mean this relative. They obviously made smaller moves here and there, but nothing of significance whatsoever. First, I'll keep it local. The Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
You're a game behind the Yankees. You made a trade for Dustin May who fits the Red Sox really well with the long flowing red hair. And Steven Matz.
Yeah.
Explain to me why, if you're the Boston Red Sox, you don't make significant moves here or be involved in significant players. You're a game behind the Yankees. The division's within reach. You're one hot week away from getting back into the whole thing, and you're close to a wild card spot. Why would you sit back and do nothing? I don't get it at all.
I found that strange too. Yeah,
the other team.
I was expecting them to do
the
more.
other team, the Detroit Tigers. You guys had the best record in all of baseball. You just got off an awful slump to get out of the All-Star break, and you just don't do anything besides Charlie Morton for the most part. That one just, to me, confusing.
And
this
Chris
is the time
Paddock.
to go all in. And Chris Paddock, yeah. This is the time to go all in. And the other team, and this bothers me more than any of them, the Chicago Cubs.
What were the Cubs doing?
You see the Milwaukee Brewers making moves. The Cubs have almost no one under contract. What are you doing? They had a better deadline last year than they did this year.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. I can't. Especially when you see the Brewers start making moves who are tailing you just slightly, you have to go out there and respond, and the Cubs just decided not to. So, to me, the losers of the deadline are the Tigers, the Cubs, and the Red Sox. The few winners, I guess you got to call it the Padres for now. The Yankees, I thought, won the deadline overall. And I'll say this, the Seattle Mariners had a really good deadline, too.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything on deadline day. They did their moves the day before and the day before that. But yeah, Suarez went there. That good move for them. And
they added offense, which has been a problem.
Oh, and Naylor, right?
Yeah.
So they
added their offense, and that's what they need. And they have a Rosarena there from last year. The last two deadlines, they've really dedicated to making their offense better.
Yeah, because they don't really have a pitching problem.
No, it's
they don't ever really seem the last few seasons wasn't the pitching. It was the offense.
No, and you still have Castillo there.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be fine.
So Thursday was a fun day. I mean, a little stressful because you're just thinking, oh man, what are they going to do? But as we said at the end of segment 1, I'm happy with it, Yankee fans. I think you should listen to us. Some of you are not happy with this, but take a night to think about it. And think about the moves the Yankees were able to do for the bullpen that has been trash for the past month and helping them out. Because I mean, their ERA
they turned their weakness into their best part of their team.
Yeah,
think about that. So, and if you really have that much of a problem, Yankee fans, let us know. You can contact us tomorrow. It's Fan Mail Friday. Let us know what your problems were, because I think they won the deadline, honestly.
Well, it's not really Fan Mail Friday. We're going to turn it into Send It In Saturday, because we've gone through this whole episode without explaining the fact that we thought the trade deadline was a little more important than Fan Mail Friday, so we're pushing Fan Mail Friday back to Saturday. So we got all your questions, and we're going to answer them all, and the show is going to go up Saturday. So you're getting a bonus show. How exciting is that for you?
You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And make sure you watch Sunday nights, because you will see that face on Sunday nights. So that'll do it for this episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.